Good morning, Bruce.
Good morning, Donna.
How are you doing on this fine morning?
I am doing wonderful. Thank you very, very much. I am feeling the love, I'm excited. I'm inspired by our songs. I'm inspired to be here with you today.
Yay, so am
Yeah,
I. In fact, I really love the song that we're going to do today because I love this artist.
I
I
am,
have
I'm,
been, I've loved him for a long time.
I'm a
He's kind of
huge
like a
fan.
renegade.
Yes,
He's a what do you call it? He would push against the system.
yes, he would. And I am grateful that you said that because that's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, yeah.
I think of this artist, and I hope it doesn't drive people crazy out there that we're waiting to say the name, but we love it. It's just that we love this artist. I love this artist for that reason. He is a renegade. He is somebody that has not held back, but hasn't been aggressive with how he says what he feels and what he
He just
thinks.
speaks his truth.
He just speaks his truth, and
Yeah,
it is so.
yeah.
It's
Refreshing.
it is refreshing because it doesn't come from any kind of. There is pushback, but it doesn't come from that side of it, that you hear sometimes in our day and age where it's like a little bit of an aggressiveness to it. I don't know how else to say it, but he has such a wonderfully calm pursuit of his truth.
And you know what? I heard recently he went through a spiritual awakening. He
Oh
went
wow,
he wrote a book,
wow.
and this song came, from the book. So yes, we're talking about a country and Western music star. We're going a
Yes.
little bit country today.
And if some of you may say, well, when you hear his name, you may say, well, he's done some folk songs.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
he could be considered one of those folk artists, and in a way, to some, he may even seem like somebody that's not just like a folk artist, but like somebody who's a little bit underground.
Yeah.
You
Well, if
know?
you're from the South, you got to know him,
Oh my
right?
gosh. I think that if you have any identity with the word hippie and
Oh,
country,
yeah,
yeah, I
yeah.
think those two
Long
things.
hair, bandana. Come on, people. We're talking about Willie Nelson.
Yes, Willie Nelson.
Yes. And the song we have chosen today is Energy Follows Thought.
What a beautiful title.
Who would have thought that Willie Nelson would have written a song like this? I love
And
it.
we have just found out through Allison, her help today in telling us that this song was written in 2022 or released around
Yes.
2022.
Yep.
And I just had to look over and see her nod her head to make sure. And yes, it is simply, I'm going to sound a little bit Mary Poppins for everybody. It's just simply delightful that he wrote, and this has been released in this time because that's just yesterday.
Yes.
And
Yes.
yesterday and today and right now and tomorrow are all in the same moment. So, oh my gosh, it is just amazing that we can talk about this
And
today.
that he's still relevant.
Yes.
That's what I love.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
So today, Energy Follows Thought by Willie Nelson. Imagine what you want, then get out of the way. Remember, energy follows thought. So be careful what you say. Be careful what you ask for. Make sure it's really what you want because your mind is made for thinking and energy follows thought. Your mind is in control, even when you do not know. And if you let it idle, ain't no tellin' where it'll go. Wherever you are sleeping and your dreams take you away, go on with your dreaming and listen to what they say. And if you hear spirits talking, their wisdom can't be bought. Apply it to your thinking, and energy follows thought. Your mind is in control, even when you do not know. And if you let it idle, ain't no telling where it'll go. Imagine what you want and get out of the way. Remember, energy follows thought, so be careful what you say. I just, I've got a song in my head.
Oh,
I
that's
can't
beautiful.
help it.
No, that's beautiful.
From a child, from my childhood growing up in church. Be careful, little mouth, what you say. Be careful, little feet, where you go.
Yes,
You remember
yes,
that
yes,
song?
yes. I do. I do
Yes.
actually remember that song. That's really funny. I find it interesting that we gave that lead into this Willie Nelson song, talking about his pushback. And within these lyrics, I'll bet there's somebody out there thinking, yeah, but you just said, be careful what you say. How can you say he's such a renegade and such a guy that's pushing back on things? And there's a deeper meaning to this. There is a much deeper meaning to this. And I feel compelled to say that right now before we get deep into this song, because what you were just singing, that song, oh my gosh, I want to ask you to sing it again. But it's such a beautiful, beautiful song in the sense that the words that we use have such meaning. They have such symbolism. And I say that with care because letters, words, they have such meaning. They have such emotion and feeling to them. There's more to it. And so that is why I believe that is relevant. And I believe that is a relevant way of looking at it, because if you are careful what you say, then when you do give the pushback that we know Willie Nelson is famous for,
He does it with love,
with
and
love
authenticity,
and authenticity
and truth, yes.
and meaning and I don't know how this sounds, but with a value that is just so deep, and that's why I think wisdom, yes, because in a way, knowledge is knowing stuff, and wisdom is so much deeper. And so, yeah, I agree. Yeah, I'm sorry to jump in there. I totally jumped down.
Well, that's okay. There's something I'm saying all the time now, especially to my grandchildren. I keep telling them, be careful what you say.
Yeah.
Words are wands.
Oh, that's beautiful. Oh my gosh.
And that's exactly what this song is saying, that energy follows thought.
Yes.
So words are wands. What you say has magic behind it.
It does have magic behind it.
It has energy.
And that is why I believe that there are incantations. And that is why I believe that there are prayers and things that we say that, we aren't just saying things. Those words are wands.
Right. And so that's
power.
what we're doing with these lyrics.
Yeah.
We're opening the eyes of you all. Thank you so much for being here today and listening.
Yes.
So we're just helping you understand life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
where, so is Willie Nelson.
And so is Willie Nelson. And where we can find.
Imagine what you want.
Yeah.
Then get out of the way.
Exactly. Because there's a quote, I was just going to try to look it up, but I'm just going to shoot from the hip here. But Buddha has a quote. There's a quote from Buddha saying that what you imagine, it can be your life, your experience. That isn't the correct quotation for those of you that might know what I'm leading at, or getting at, but that is what we are powerful enough to do and capable of doing, is imagining what we want. But then, yes, we got to get out of the way.
Yes.
Because otherwise we're going to get in our own way of creating what we want. We get in our own way of our imagination, because remember, energy follows thought. So the minute you believe that you are worthy of those things that you're imagining, then that energy is going to follow that thought, and it is going to do it.
Right.
It is going to make it happen.
Right. Smooth and easy.
smooth. Exactly, just like how your voice just sounded so perfect. Yes. And,
But yeah, when we get in our way, it's not smooth and easy.
It is not smooth and easy.
Rough
It's
and
really
rocky.
tough. Oh my gosh, yeah. And so be careful what you say. Be careful what you ask for. Make sure it's really what you want, because your mind is made for thinking. And just like we just said, energy follows thought.
Well, when you really think about this, Bruce, everything on this earth came from a thought.
Yes.
We create everything from thought. Energy follows thought.
It must follow that thought. And that is something that a lot of us use a very wonderful word. I love this word. We use the word intention, because intention is thought. And you have this feeling too, emotions, and I believe feeling is also intention, but thought is a part of intention. And so energy follows that intention. Absolutely. Most of us, I believe most of us out there can really identify with that and resonate with that. And that's the one side of this too, because one of the things that I learned as a performing artist back in the day, and I would say this for anybody, before you go out on stage, I learned the hard way that stage fright is sometimes you're imagining the horrible things that you might do for a performance. And then you create them because you're not really intending on doing that, but your fear of what could happen
Calls it in.
Oh my gosh, like a wild, news type of animal call that is so successful every hunter's buying it. You're just like, and it's you just can't stop calling in those things. And it's because you have to be careful what you say, because it isn't just verbally out loud, it's also in your head. And be careful what you ask for, because sometimes that is what you create. You have to make sure it's really what you want, meaning, do I really want those things, those bad things to happen? Why would I envision those bad things happening before I get to go do that?
Oh my gosh, Bruce, that was beautiful. Of course,
thank you.
yes.
Yeah, and then
why would I imagine that if I don't want it to
exactly. And so because your mind is made for thinking, and energy follows thought, really just to follow through with that. And then going into the next lyric, your mind is in control even when you do not know. And that's what I see, because that's why I feel like all of this, it's so carefully and generously given to us as a gift from Willie Nelson, saying, be careful what you say, be careful what you ask for, make sure it's really what you want, because your mind is made for thinking and energy follows thought. Your mind is in control even when you do not know. And if you let it idle, ain't no telling where it'll go, because that's, like I said about the stage fright, when you are thinking that your thoughts are in a normal state of affairs, sometimes we think, oh, it's okay to, be worried about what could happen because, I'm just trying to troubleshoot. And then we can make those excuses to try to stay ahead and kind of like win over those things we think are going to happen. But we're not going to win that battle, because we're setting we're setting ourselves up for failure. And that's why, I believe we have to imagine what we want and then get out of the way. That's exactly
so
what it is. It is so hard. And
this line, and if you let it idle,
yes,
ain't no telling where it'll go. Now, this is interesting because many of us are on a path of quieting the mind.
Yeah.
We're being told that if we can silence the mind, then we can then begin to find peace and happiness and joy and things like that.
Yeah.
And he is saying, don't let your mind idle. What I am getting out of that is how do you see idling?
Running.
Yes, thank you. Because when you're sitting in a car at a red light, you're idling, right? And the car is still running.
Yep.
It hasn't been shut down.
Yep.
Which in meditation, it's literally like shutting your mind down. The
Yep.
thoughts, you let
Yes.
the thoughts go and you stop thinking and you just, experience blankness,
Yeah. Yeah.
nothingness.
Yeah.
And when you idle, that's what I was thinking about your speaking of what could go wrong.
Right.
And when you just stay in that thought of what could go wrong, no telling where it'll go, you start just boom, 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 boom. All these things come in that could go wrong. Right?
Exactly. Yes. I couldn't. I'm Donna. You're speaking like from my heart. I feel like, and what that says to me is exactly. We don't pay. We've allowed our mind to idle, meaning we've allowed it to run and do these things. We're allowing it to just go in this pattern, in this cycle of. Really, it's a cycle of kind of self-abuse, and that's a strong word. That's a very strong word, but I say it because we are thinking of bad things happening to ourselves.
Yeah. Well, and it's everything. What is it what is it that's troubling you in this moment?
Right.
Is it finances? Is it, oh, I'm never going to find love? Is it, I don't like the job I'm in? Whatever it is that is troubling you, and you idle upon it,
Yeah.
no telling.
No telling.
That's energy follows thought.
And it's going to follow those thoughts of that
Yes.
negative thought, that negative thing that you're thinking could happen, those things that you're worried about. And it's really difficult. Yes, it is very difficult to turn those things off. There is absolutely no doubt. But
Wayne Dyer says it very simply how you can correct that, If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at will change.
you beat me to it.
So if you
I love that quote. I love that. Yes,
let your mind idle on good things,
Yes.
If you do have worries, change them. If you're worried about finances, think about one thing good, like, oh, I'm going to buy a cup of coffee this morning.
Absolutely.
I get to buy a cup of
my
coffee.
Gosh. And God, that is brilliant. And you know what?
It's not, oh my God, I don't know if I can afford a cup of coffee.
No. Yeah.
Bring the opposite in of what is troubling you, and things will begin to get better.
They will.
Because energy follows thought.
Energy follows thought. And you should, and they say this, and in the simplest way, because sometimes those little things like that make you happy, that's paying yourself. And that is one.
I love that.
Yeah, that is one thing that people really do advise a lot. In different generations, they've said that. And that's why I feel strongly about that too, because there's also a way, some of you might resonate with this phrase, and that is like attracts like. And if that is a way you can see what Willie Nelson is saying in here, and Wayne Dyer also says, because that's exactly what I was thinking too.
Right.
That was amazing. And the next portion of this, wherever you are sleeping and your dreams take you away, go on with your dreaming and listen to what they say. I love this line because this reminds me of lucid dreaming and being able to be in a dream and to translate what's happening in a way that you can carry out of that dream into your waking thoughts. And I say lucid dreaming because I feel like it's easier to remember what's happening in your dreams if you are capable of lucid dreaming. And I know there are people out there that can write down their dreams and remember what happens in their dreams, and that's fine. But that's what I thought of when I read this, was that,
wherever you are sleeping. I mean, that says it right there.
Yes, it does.
You can have daydreams. You can be sitting at your desk and take 5 minutes to daydream.
And it's
lucid dream, whatever we wish to call it.
Meditate,
and dream of, something paradise, whatever it is, something joyful and happy to bring into your life.
And listen to what that is saying to you. Yes.
When your dreams take you away.
They do.
I love that, because you're in a good place.
Yeah.
You just feel good. You're on a beach and on an island somewhere, and the sun is just just perfect warming your skin. So go on with your dreaming and listen to what they say.
Yeah, and if you hear spirits talking, their wisdom can't be bought. Apply it to your thinking, and energy follows thought. And I love that one too, because after go on with your dreaming and listen to what they say, and if you hear spirits talking, I feel like that is just such a wonderful little extra little bit there, because he really kind of adds in the idea of having, to me, guides.
Oh, I love that. Yes.
Yes,
I love the fact that he came out to the world and said, everybody, it's okay if you hear spirits talking.
Yes.
So many people are waking up to that
Yes.
beautiful guidance that
Yes.
we have available to
Yes.
us, which are called spirit guides, ancestors, angels, God, whatever you wish to call this guidance that you can receive.
It could be a loved one that's passed. That's the wonderful thing about that, is that, wherever you are sleeping and your dreams take you away, if those dreams are just in dreams, and then you want to remember what those dreams say because you've maybe had a dream that had incredible things that happened, wonderful. Listen to what they say. If you happen to hear spirits talking to, if you're in a daydream, we know that there are many different avenues that we could go into our sleeping, if you put the word sleeping in quotations. It's just that, you got to be able to allow yourself and trust yourself to receive the message, because those spirits, those wonderful loved ones, the things can be talking to you, and their wisdom, that cannot be bought, meaning it is absolutely priceless, because, well, it's coming from beyond the veil.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, it isn't something. I love how he says their wisdom can't be bought, because it isn't like he's saying their advice or their knowledge. He's using a very specific word.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
And that is, to me, that's why it says apply it to your thinking, because it is Willie Nelson reminding us how essential it is to listen to our spirit guides, listen to those angels, and listen to those things, because that energy is going to follow that thought, and it is going to become our reality.
Yes. And the beauty about it is it can also be intuition.
Oh, yes.
Which is your own wisdom that can't be bought.
Yes.
Some people think that it may be something outside of themselves, when actuality it is themselves. Their higher self, or whatever you choose to call that, the divinity within you speaking and saying, do this.
Absolutely.
Don't
Donna,
turn left today. Go straight.
We were talking about our dogs, and you reminded me that dogs have an instinct. They really operate a little bit more on instinct. Mm-hmm. And how much they remember, well, maybe we will never know, but it's also that intuition. Mm-hmm. They feel that deep intuition. And I love that, because yes, it is a feeling. Mm-hmm. It's such a deep feeling.
And knowing.
And yes, and knowing, and that is so beautiful, because it's such a wonderful way of accepting and knowing that if you ever think you have chemistry with somebody, that's a part of your intuition. That is definitely a part of that intuition, and that spiritual and that energetic connection between you and whoever that person is who has that chemistry. Mm-hmm. And that is a part of this intuition that we're talking about, because your mind
is in control.
Your mind is in control, even when you do not know. And if you let it idle, ain't no telling where it'll go.
Yeah. You know what? When I got this glimpse, this quick flash of a picture about your mind being in control. And it was like, the movies that are coming out now where people are inside these gigantic things, and they can control them,
Oh,
yes. Their metal being
big, huge,
giant.
in some games online, they call them mechanized warriors, and they have
Okay,
like mechanical bodies,
yes,
and
yes, yes.
like an alien when she jumped inside of the thing that's supposed to help you move big heavy objects and fights the alien. Yes,
Yeah. So it's like that's what it is. That little person inside this big thing, that's your mind. That's in control. Your mind is in control. And it's hard for us sometimes to realize that, because we aren't really our mind. We are spirits. And it's our spirit that speaks through the mind. And that's where the difficulty comes in.
Absolutely.
And getting out of the way.
That's exactly the very last little bit. Imagine what you want and get out of the way, because you're right. Because our mind, it
can idle, and it can wander, and it can
it can, and it's true. You know what Donna is talking about, for those of you out there that don't mind me going down a kind of sciencey kind of vein here, or rabbit hole. There are people out there that have had water on the brain, and it renders the brain it makes the brain become something that you could say, like, it becomes the size of part of it becomes the size of a slice, or a very thinly sliced piece of bologna. And then there's like a speck that's at the top of your brainstem, I think. And there are people that have graduated from Columbia University with that, in that condition. They are, if you spoke to them, you would probably know that there was some sort of condition that they lived in. But honestly, they are amazing, because they've been through this thing that's happened to them, and they are so functional. It is such a demonstration of exactly what you just said. We are more than what is just in that brain matter. When people say, what about that gray matter in between your ears? There is more to you than that.
Right.
We are spirit. Mm-hmm. And that spirit is what makes us such amazing things. I don't know how to describe it, because we are just amazing things. And we need to make sure that we allow that spirit to be and get out of the way.
Yes, because that spirit will control that mind that can become a monkey at times.
Oh my gosh.
That's the big saying a lot of people say,
yes.
Monkey mind. I can't get out of my monkey mind.
And it's so appropriate. And it, because as the song says, remember, energy follows thought.
And that's what we are. We are energy beings. We are the 70 trillion cells that make up this beautiful body.
Absolutely.
Are nothing but light, sound, and vibration.
Yeah.
We are energy beings.
Absolutely.
And when we learn that, and the fact that it is our mind that helps create on this plane, because this is physical. This is the physicality of what we really are.
Yeah.
Divinity. So it's really cool to be able to know that people are beginning to understand that energy follows thought.
Energy follows thought.
Including Willie Nelson.
And so, be careful what you say. The very last line of that song. And
be careful what you say.
Yeah, because it could be to yourself, to somebody else, to the universe. It's a very appropriate bit of advice from what a wonderful man. My wife has a sweatshirt that says, "Have a Willie nice Christmas." And it has a picture of him on the front.
Yeah.
So,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the song from church, be careful, little mouth, what you say.
Yes.
Yes. It's be careful, little mouth, what you say, for the Father up above is looking down in love. So be careful, little mouth, what you say.
Wow.
So, and you go through all your senses, your feet and your hands, what you touch, and be careful, little ears, what you hear.
Yay. Oh my gosh.
Thank you all so much for hearing us today.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us here on WQEE 99.1 FM. And if you'd like to have a song for for us to discuss the lyrics, remember, email us at
lyricalwisdomshow@gmail.com. That's lyricalwisdomshow@gmail.com.
Thank you all so much. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you, Donna.